to do your intro again? Or I mean, right back at the start intro.
No, just
So if you just say that due to some technical issues,
Will you put your minutes up of the thing that you missed on?
Screen is running.
due to some technical issues, the live stream has only just started now. We're currently on item 7, staff reports, and we're halfway through the quarterly report. We've covered the performance measures side, and we're now going through the financial side. Do you want to just repeat what you said when you first came in? Just
Sure. Good afternoon, Chair and Councillors. Through the Chair, I present the quarterly report to the quarter that ended on 30th of September 2023. I'll take it as read, and through the Chair, I'll take any questions.
thank you. Has anyone got any questions on the financial part of the quarterly report?
actually I do, and I didn't have before. I've just found something that I just want to make sure I understand. Just on page, on page 60 of the actual report, not the agenda, under facilities and leisure services other, where it's got the Jackson's Bay Trailer and Boat Park, utility expenses 0, carry forward from the annual plan is 188,000, but the funding's been cancelled. So what do we do when funding's been allocated in a budget for a prospective job, and then we decide not to proceed with that? No, but what happens to that funding? Because it's money that we demand from our operating expenditure to be spent or something, isn't it? That's something that we've budgeted to spend going forward.
Operating,
No,
means it CapEx.
it'll be CapEx, won't it?
Yeah, so it won't impact.
It won't impact rates, but then how do we, if it says funding cancelled, how do we absorb that back out of this system? Do we have to absorb it back out?
No,
Or
it'll
does it
just
sit
at
there?
the end, for the next, it'll just drop off the list at the end.
Right.
For the next, because there's no funding,
Right.
or impact on any rates, depreciation or anything like that, so it can just drop off.
So do we need to keep the awareness of that funding was,
And it's part of the budget this year.
yeah, so that'll just, yeah, okay. So I just wanted to get that clear in my head as far as understanding that process. Thank you. All good.
Any other questions on the financial side? If not, then could I have a mover that the report be received? The committee received the quarterly report, quarter 1, July to September 2023, attached as Appendix 1.
I'll move the report be received.
And all in favour? Carried. We now move to the working group updates, policy working group updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mayor and Councillors. This is an administrative report. I believe the report covers the topic fully. I have nothing further to add, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions around the table? Starting with Councillor Neal. Councillors? Well, other than saying that I think that the risk analysis was very, very, very good, and if I was able to plagiarise that somewhat for some of my charities, I'd very much appreciate it. I would like to move that we receive the report, and we have no feedback, suggestions or recommendations. So just I move we receive the report. And do I have a second?
Yep.
Your worship, thank you. And all in favour?
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. That's exciting.
I know, it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Right, so we now move on to the Privacy Commission requirements. Keith Wilder, thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mayor and Councillors. This report is also an administrative type thing that come about because we had notification from one of our cyber security consultants about privacy commission upping the ante on what's required from us. If we have a breach and we don't have two-factor authentication in place, we often put major fines and things. So the report was obviously saying what we've done about it. So, any questions about it?
You'll be dealing with these,
The two-factor authentication nicely. All the councils.
it's straightforward.
Any other questions from anyone? No, sorry, I will answer. So that means we'll get something when we're logging in, we'll get something, a code onto our cell phones,
Yes.
for example. So has everyone got good cell phone reception?
I can't answer.
And sometimes that can be an issue. I've had to run up the drive or my phone up like this trying to get codes back through.
Oh, do we have to deal with that one? No.
Sometimes, I don't know, it depends on system setup, but you can have secondary email addresses as well. There's usually more than one option.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had to, I do it all the time, but we've got good cell phone reception around here and
Yes.
I've come across how that secondary option are. I can investigate.
I would recommend that this information is disseminated very widely. I know sports groups, small businesses and the other not-for-profits that I know of haven't done this, or not aware of this, and I don't think I've come across any to date that are actually compliant with it or that are working right now. So I think it doesn't have to disseminate it widely.
Any company that holds personal information should be have that.
Okay, so I'll move that the report be received and do I second it? Councillor Neal, thank you. All in favour? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the staff departure policy.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mayor, councillors and staff. I'd like to present my report on the staff departures policy, and I'll take the report as read and ask for any questions.
No, I don't have any questions. I thought,
Yes, Madam Chair, this is a policy we don't like to use.
Yeah. I think we come out for good reason.
Yeah.
No, I just actually quite like the fact that we're getting these things, we're reviewing them and getting them where they should be. And I can appreciate the work that goes into that as well, so thank you.
I'd like to say again, if I'm able to appreciate this for my charities, it would be much appreciated because I think it's an extremely well written policy. And if it's all right, I'd like to ask because it is a council document, even though it's a public document.
I don't have any objection to that from a staff point of view.
Thank you. And I have one small suggestion, and that was under the 2.3, the full where it's around fair well function, discretion of chief executive, etc., etc. We recommend that there's either a cap in place as to the amount, and I'm sure we can all think of the thing that was in the newspapers as to why it might be a good idea to have some sort of cap stated. Or also possibly a double authorisation, because if the chief executive, I'm not saying you're leaving, if you were leaving, then it might be a good idea to get a double authorisation like one of the GMs.
Or as delegate, or
Yeah, or delegate. It's just that whole protecting thing because.
if I'm not here, there's always going to be an acting chief executive anyway.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, I think it's a good idea to have a cap because it's $40,000 farewell party that someone had.
Oh, yeah.
So which point were you referring to, sorry?
Council contribution, discretion of chief executive, consideration of the appropriate, etc.
Oh, I see.
Sensitive expenditure, I still think it's a good idea to have a cap. So that it's, because at the end of the day, somebody at some point, not actually think about the $40,000 entity now, thinking about their own life insurance cover, not local body, and they somehow managed to wriggle out of the scheme. So I thought if we've got it tight, then there's no no room for.
You've got an amount of suggestion?
Just recommendation, it's something that we consider.
It's an operational matter.
Yeah.
I'll take that back to the executive team for consideration.
Assuming that, does anyone disagree with that? Because only my opinion.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Are you requesting, Madam Chair, to bring it back to this committee for endorsement, or just make a modification accordingly?
I think the nature of policy is probably a good idea if it comes back for endorsement.
Have you considered on that?
Oh, we'll have a think about it. I know a recent staff member that had a function that we'll consider as a top end.
Benchmark, $500 in. $500 in, she said.
$100, I think she said.
Because there's probably other guidelines floating around.
Yeah.
Just for council's reference, because I already had some morning tea, so it's highly likely $200 would be a fair cap in my mind. If council would accept that now, we can actually sign it off today.
I think $200 is more than reasonable.
And that's at the upper end, once again.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it spend the $200.
So we can move it, what we received, subject to amendment of energy cap under the 2.3 bullet point 4 of $200. I'm happy to move that.
All of us take away.
And all in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. Harry, thanks. Thank you. Your expensive expenditure.
These policies were brought back to the committee for review at the request from the chair. The sensitive expenditure policy was reviewed last year and came to this committee. The staff conflict of interest policy is due for renewal. It's overdue for renewal, so this is a timely report to this committee for suggestions and recommendations. I'll take the policies and reports as read, and we'll take any recommendation.
I'll speak first on conflicts of interest because having looked at it, since this particular policy was last reviewed, the Office of the Auditor General has actually issued a whole new guideline on conflicts of interest. So I thought that if the committee agrees that instead of going through policy as it currently is, that we ask that the staff review it against the OAG guideline and bring it back to the February meeting. That's okay with Leslie and Mr. Council, or Mr. Committee. So if that's agreed, we'll just leave conflicts of interest, but I'll include that in the motion, and we'll also put it on the work plan. And just go on to the sensitive expenditure.
Common sense, isn't it?
It was reviewed against the OAG guidelines, and we went through on the principle-based guidelines, which meant we updated things such as values and limits. As part of that.
The reason why I asked for these to come on this particular agenda was because of the high level of sensitivity and interest and completely outside of local bodies, but nevertheless in public sector, of somewhat challenging behaviours around understanding things like conflicts of interest, cronyism and all those good things, and expenditure. So I thought it was a good idea to have them reviewed. So I think we're in a really good position. And the only suggestion I had around the sensitive expenditure was there's also another block that's, I've seen dozens of these in the last 6 months, there's another block that some people have in policy principles near the start, and I actually think that's quite a good thing, and I could probably point you at that if I disagree. I did take a wee note, and the wording is included all the way through the policy, but a lot of them are now going, did it, policy principles, and then all the detail. And they cover things, expenditure decisions should have a justifiable dominant business purpose as objectives, preserve impartiality, be made with integrity, moderate and conservative, having regard to the circumstances, are made transparently and made with proper authority, which is straight at the OAG. And I thought it might be a good idea just to have that drop in as a policy principle. But that word is running all the way through already.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just a good practice with a slight extra tweak on, make it slightly gooder.
Yeah, no, that's fine, we'll take that back. Also, as part of this, the sensitive expenditure policy and expenditure in general, sensitive expenditure in general was brought up on the audit, on our audit management report. And the suggestion was that we have some reporting back to this committee on sensitive expenditure during the year. What we'd like as well as part of this report is your ideas as to how you would like to see that, your recommendations.
Councillors, how would you like to see sensitive expenditure? I think it's a good idea to come to this committee. How would you like to see it presented?
Through you, Chair, some councils actually have it on their website in terms of progressing how the expense claims are going through various councillors on their own website, so they're progressing it every month in terms of updates.
We have councillor allowances and expenditure on our website already, have been doing for some time. So,
On what basis do you compile it? Is it sort of, like, I don't imagine it's weekly, is it quarterly or monthly, or when you put together sensitive expenditure reports? What's the
Emma may be able to answer that better. Emma, do we do this monthly for the councillor expenditure on the expenses, allowances on the website? You're on mute.
Sorry. Yes, the council expenses, councillor expenses, I should say, are all listed on the website. Those are sent through each month from the finance team, and they're available for anybody to view at any time.
So what does that look like? Just an Excel file or PDF?
You just go through the website and it will be listed there.
Oh, okay. Well, so it's already proactively available, and what else do we really need to do?
And I mean, everything that should be shown on there is shown on there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
We've been quite proactive with that right from an early stage, so it's been going up there for a few years now.
And we're already making our sensitive expenditure as publicly available as probably as it can be. In that case, we need to continue with the current process.
We are also in a good position where our mayor and chief executive don't have a credit card. We've only run one credit card in the organisation with a low credit limit, so we don't have any sensitive expenditure in that area as well, so we don't need to report on that.
Just make the audit easier too. So we've got kind
It makes it easier with audit, and we have to make that public information if they have a credit card anyway.
It's actually a really proactive way of managing things, because there's no reactiveness required or the potential of need. I quite like the sort of what is in place.
We don't have to give these responses now. We could come back with something for the next meeting.
Have you got any recommendations where you think we need to make some?
Well, as we've said, we've no credit cards other than the one business one. Because of the low value, and for one-offs and payments where we can't actually have a purchase order. They're all, so we could bring that forward, showing the approvals, just so that you're aware that what goes through that and the approvals that are on that. I think as far as allowances is concerned, it's all there in the public anyway, so we don't need to look at that. But we can look at sensitive expenditure around what we have in this is detailed in the sensitive expenditure policy, such as staff travel and things like that, and it's more making sure the approvals are there and that you're aware that we're still, working within our budgets.
Apologies, I had to leave. I'll be back short. Hopefully by 2:15.
Yes, we'll be meeting at 1:45.
Just a quick question, Ms. Vane. Where is that available on the website? What part of the website do you go to find it?
And where is it available on the website? I just usually go to the search button and put councillors in there,
Alright.
and you can work your way through it that way.
Are you looking?
Yeah,
Sits under mayor and councillors, and on the menu to the left-hand side, there are elected members allowances table.
Aye.
Alright.
If there's any further discussion? If not, I will move that the report be received, that the conflicts of interest policy goes back to be reviewed against the latest of the Auditor General guidelines, that the sensitive expenditure policy be amended to include a block on policy principles as a new paragraph, and the current process of reporting using the website continues as is. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Beard, thank you. All in favour? Aye. Carried. And it's 1:45, and I now move that the Risk and Assurance Committee meeting move into public excluded session. Do I have a seconder? Your Worship, all in favour? Thank you. We'll now have a